Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another Tuesday with Michelle Green. And where are they now? If you are watching us for the very first time, make sure that you go ahead and hit that subscribe button at kb.michellegreen. And also make sure that you go and tell a friend that we are a business university that helps students from all over the world. What we do is we take in students and help them to learn how to manage their companies, how to set their organizations up properly. We even help them with marketing, media, and sales. And don't forget the funding. Don't forget the fact that we help you to get grants and business credit and all types of things business. That's what we do here at KBBU. Kingdom Builders Business University is the place to be for every entrepreneur. No matter if you've been in business for a short period of time or a long period of time, we are a solution for you. So get connected, okay? Now, today we are talking to the students that have graduated from our undergraduate class, and some of them have even come through our VIP master's class to continue their education. And what we're doing is we're talking about how they were back then before they even knew anything about KBBU and Michelle Green. And we are talking to them about what's going on in their life right now and how they have come through their journey of entrepreneurship. So today we have a very dear friend of mine and student, okay? And she is going to share with you her livelihood of her journey of life. So get ready to tune in. Make sure that you are sharing this with a friend so that you don't miss these key points on entrepreneurship today. So let's give a round of applause right now for our very own Miss Romy Holmes. Yay! Welcome, Romy. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing great. It's so exciting to have you on. It's been a minute since we connected, at KBBU in the master's class, but we still stay in contact with each other, don't we?
Yes, we do. Yeah,
yes.
We've been knowing each other for over 20 years, so yes.
Okay. Yes, has it been that long? Oh my God.
It's been that long, yes. It's been that long. I had to think back to the Verizon days when Layla was just born, and Layla's about to be 20. So yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah. It's really been that long. Mm-hmm. Wow. So there you have it, guys. Mm-hmm. See, we develop relationships from wherever. It could be a family member, it could be a friendship, it could be a co-worker. Me and Romy, we both worked at Verizon years ago, like 2005.
Right.
I mean, that's really, oh my God, it is 20 years. Jeez.
Yeah, it's 20 years. Exactly.
Oh my goodness, it doesn't feel like it. It really doesn't feel like it.
Yeah.
So Romy, can you share a little bit with the world about who you are?
Absolutely. Well, again, of course, I'm Romy Holmes. And first of all, I'll tell you a little bit about my family. We are from here in Columbia, South Carolina. I have a daughter, Layla. She is, like we said, 20. So she's a USC upcoming junior, and she cheers for the USC women's basketball team.
Wow. South Carolina in the house.
Let's go Gamecocks. Yes. And then my son is 12. He's a 7th grader, upcoming 8th grader at Summit Middle School.
Nice.
And I do have grands. So AJ, my oldest son, he has 2. So we have Jasmine, and we have Jasmine and
the baby.
Baby. I see his little face right in front of me, like Jasmine.
That's showing our age, Romy. You can't be showing our age. Just like 2 grandbabies. No.
But we don't get to see them as often because they're in Georgia. But Yeah,
That's
which
good
is
though.
yeah. But we'll be
That's
going to school
good.
in a little while. But
Okay.
basically, that's my crew. And
Awesome.
of course, my husband Walter. We've been married for 21.
Woo! You
21.
don't look like it, girl. Now you don't look like. I know we the same age, but we
Well,
look good for our age, don't we,
you know,
y'all?
you know
Hello,
that sea moss.
y'all give
You
us
know
some
that
hearts
sea
out
moss,
there.
right? That sea moss, Michelle. That'll do it. We can talk about that later.
Yes, we will. We will definitely get into your businesses. So,
Yeah.
can you tell us a little bit about what happened or anything in particular that you want to share with the world about who you are and where your journey began with entrepreneurship?
Absolutely. Well, growing up, of course, we grew up here in Columbia, in Greenview. If anyone's from Columbia, we grew up in Greenview. My mom was a single parent, so
Mm-hmm.
she always had to be at work. And I was big
Oh,
sister with two little brothers, and I think all of us from the time we were like, say, 15, we worked. It was always work, 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 because mom was single, and that's how it was. So,
yeah.
as we grew and as I grew in age and always had a job or two or three, I'm at some point in my life, I think it was my late 40s. It's like, okay, Romy, what do you want to really do? Like, you have to have an employer because you have to pay the bills. But
Right.
what is your passion? What is it that you really want to do? And that's when I decided that I want to work for myself, right? So,
Okay.
and I said, well, I have a lot of things that God has given me, talents that God has given me that I was using, not as a business, but for my family. Like I would work on
Okay.
my aunties and cousins. I was been doing their taxes for 6, 7, 8 years, and just doing them, just because I knew how to do them,
Right.
and
Okay. So
because
let me
everybody
go back.
you know, everybody can't do that. So that was for me, that's a gift. And I'm saying to myself, well, if I've been doing this for all the family all this time, well, why not start a business? You
Yeah,
know?
so let me just interject right quick. So
Mhm.
you were saying that you started out being in I wouldn't say a small town. I wouldn't say like the large major city, but
Mhm.
Columbia, South Carolina. I mean, fairly medium size, I would
Mhm.
say. And you grew up as in a single parent home where your mom was working all the time. So this is again a key point that I want us to really begin to look for as we think of entrepreneurship.
Mhm.
Key point is work ethic. So your mom was working, even though she was a single parent, right?
Mhm.
So we
Mhm.
learn these work ethic skills of wanting to do something more and
Mhm.
earn an income,
Mhm.
whether that income is large or small when we first start out or not, or we grow it to six figures quickly, however it's done. We
Mhm.
still have to learn the work ethic. So it sounds
Yes.
like with you being the older sister, that you were learning like how to lead, you were learning how to care for your younger siblings because you probably
Mhm.
had to step up and take on responsibilities as an adult even though you were still a child, right?
Mhm. Right.
Okay,
Exactly.
so
Yeah.
that's a key point of
Mhm.
entrepreneurship. And now, was there anything in particular when you were coming along, Romy, that you wanted to do or you thought of like this is the one thing that I'm going to do when I grow up?
I just knew I was going to be a nurse.
Oh,
I just knew that is what I wanted to do. If I could go back to school now, I
mhm.
would stick to it because, back then I wasn't serious about it. Um, but I always felt like because I was like a nurturer. I just like you said,
Yeah.
I had to take care of my brothers. I had to make sure they eat. I had to, you know, make sure they clean their rooms and all. And it was fine because it was worth it because our mom was out doing what she had to do because she has an awesome work ethic, which passed down to her daughter, which also
Oh,
passed down to her sons. So because of
awesome.
her work ethic and being a single mom and working 2 and 3 jobs, and I'm like, oh
Hmm.
my gosh, like my mom worked at night shift, she worked for the state, and then she'd come home and work an administrative job. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So it would have been very selfish of us not to put in our part, you know. So our work
Absolutely.
ethic definitely comes from my mom. And people tell me all the time, especially on my actual with my employer, they're like,
Uh-huh.
your work ethic is out of this world. Like,
Wow.
like, can you just calm it down? It's not that serious, you know. But when I started setting goals, it actually is that serious
It
because you
is. It
want
is.
to understand that you're serious about what you're doing. And I have
Right.
a passion for what I do. So,
I
and when you
love
have a
it.
passion, then it makes a big difference.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you were a kid growing up, you matured through like from your childhood to teenagehood to your 20s. What age did you actually either did you go to school a little bit for nursing? I know that was something that you wanted to do, or did you have any kind of encounter with the dream that you had originally?
Yeah, I went to school. I went to Midlands Tech a
Nice.
couple years. Um, the money was short, you know. Um, Money was short. I wasn't as focused as I am now. I ended up changing my major to surgical tech, and I really
Oh,
loved it. I actually really loved. I was like, because I could watch literally anything on TV in the operating rooms. I was fine. I had the strongest stomach, but then
what?
yeah, I was doing good because I think I was kind of in between going to school for surgical tech and uh, Verizon. I think I was kind of I think I was doing a part-time thing. And then
Okay.
Layla came along.
Oh, okay. Well, time out before Layla came along. Hold on. Let's get the audience into this storyline. So
The
you were
storyline is Layla took away my ability to even watch. Like I scream for a little scratch. Like I cannot watch anything gooey, bloody. She just took it away, and she was like, "Mom, how did I do that?" I said, "I don't know, baby, but you took it away. Maybe that's not what I was supposed to be doing, but I just
okay. Well,
knew."
1 second, Romy. Let's pause for a moment, okay? Because they don't know who Layla is, but I'm thinking they're gathering the picture. All right.
Mhm.
So we're saying that you came from the single parent home. So I
Mhm.
want us to think about as entrepreneurs that it doesn't matter what your story is. It doesn't matter if mom was only there as the parent in the household. I also came from a single parent home,
Mhm.
so I understand exactly where you're coming from with that. And then you took on the responsibilities of your siblings to help take care of them, help take care of the house. So they gave you some responsibilities. And I read a study about children who work and have like chores within the house and great responsibilities end
Mhm.
up being really good citizens of their countries. They
Mhm.
really begin to be people who understand, the good work ethics and become people that are really helpful and really make the world a better place.
Mhm.
So hats off to you for that. And then what you were saying is that you wanted to go to school to be a nurse, but then while you were in school, you started studying surgical. What was it?
Surgical
Surgical.
tech. Surgical tech. That's the person that's in the operating room beside the doctor, passing the different uh, equipment to
Oh,
him so he can open up this part of the body or close this, and yeah, near all that
okay.
right
Yeah. So
there.
when you said that, when you said that, you made me think about me watching Grey's Anatomy and how I have to close my
Yeah,
eyes all the time.
yeah.
But you're saying that you had a stomach for that. So maybe, Roman, you were supposed to be a doctor.
I don't know, but when so
Well, hey,
big.
yeah. Well,
Been really big.
and then you said that after having, going to school, and then you must have met your husband or you
Yes.
met
Mhm.
somebody. Okay. All right. So tell
Yeah.
us about that opportunity of love.
Okay, so you want to go back. So
Yeah, just a
all
little,
right,
just a
so
little
of course I worked and I then I think like early 20s I found a really good job. And that's how I met my husband. He actually
midget.
still
Okay.
works there. This is a company called Shakespeare. I ended up working there for about 6 years or so. And
Okay.
again, that's how I met my husband. And
Right.
once I was there, I was like, this is not what I really want to do. And
Right.
then the HR person, he was such a awesome guy and gave you so many opportunities. And I went to him and I told him, I was like, hey, do y'all offer any programs to help, with school? And he was like, yeah, and so that's how I ended up, going back into school. And while I was in school,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
so that's how that worked out. And then I ended up leaving there while in school and going to work at Baptist Hospital. So I'm like, if I want to go into the medical field, I might as well be working in the medical
Yeah.
environment,
Right.
you know? So
Exactly. Exactly.
yeah, so I worked at Baptist for a couple of years, and then I left Baptist and I went to the nursing home. But the nursing home was too much for me, because you get
Oh,
to know the residents so well, and you see them
yes.
every day, and then
You don't
something,
see them.
yeah, and Walter would come pick me up, and I'd get in the car and I would just cry, So it was too
Oh,
much for my mentality, it was just too much for my emotions. So I think from there um, is when I did. That might be when I went to Verizon because I wanted
oh,
that 8 to 5, not knowing we wasn't getting no 8 to 5.
okay,
I said,
okay,
okay,
okay.
all right,
So
because
you still didn't tell us about your love story of how we were talking about Layla. So tell us a little something about, so you met your significant
I
other,
met
y'all
my
got
significant
together,
other.
y'all had a baby. What?
Yeah, so I met Walter at Shakespeare. We dated
Yes.
for a couple months and then we broke up. And
Okay.
then about 2 years later, it was near like Valentine's Day. And he came to me and asked if I wanted to be his Valentine. And so
Oh.
we have
And
been
then
together ever since.
a few months later, here comes
And
Layla.
then about that was actually in 2000. So that's like February 2000. And
Hmm.
then I remember it was Thanksgiving. We got married in 2000. I'm horrible with dates. We
It's
dated
okay.
for 2 years. And then he asked me to marry him at Thanksgiving dinner. And then we got married the following year because, we had to save money, for the wedding.
Yes.
And we
Okay.
got married the following year, that following September.
Okay.
So I think we had Layla. We wanted to have a little fun first, before we
Right,
got,
right.
yeah, I
Before,
had Layla.
yes,
I think
yes.
Layla came, I didn't have Layla until I was like 30, 30.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
All
I was
right. So
in the friends crew. But
gotcha. Okay. The friends crew. Okay. So you were saying that you were going to school. You ended up having the opportunity to go back to school because the job where you and Walter were working, basically allowed you to go back to school. So you were in school, then y'all got together, y'all broke up, then you got married, then you had a baby,
Mhm.
and then you started working at Verizon, which is where we met.
Yeah.
Wow. Tell us a little bit about your venture at Verizon.
Verizon, I actually like everything at Verizon except the hours and upstate. You know
Oh,
what I
okay, the
mean when I say
location.
upstate. Okay.
Yes, I do. I do. I do. I remember those days. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, because
Long time ago,
Verizon
but
went by seniority, so we didn't get the best hours.
that's
So
true. That is true. I
yeah.
remember I was on like a second shift and a half, and I was like, what is this? I
Yeah,
ain't never
we
worked
had to
these
work
hours in my
shift.
life. It was like a schedule that started every hour, every 30 minutes from 6 in the morning, right? Or five in the
Yeah.
morning to like 11 or something. Yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy. But
Yeah.
yeah, I'm glad that those days are over. But you were at Verizon for how long, Romy?
Now I was only at Verizon for 2 years.
Two
And
years.
2 years.
Okay.
2 years. Now I enjoyed the pay. The pay was good. The
Yeah.
benefits were good. The
Yes.
bonuses were great. Okay.
Absolutely.
It's
Absolutely.
just the hours because at that time I had a child. So I had
Right.
to go for the actual 8 to 5.
Okay, gotcha. So
Yeah.
when we think about entrepreneurship, we really have to make decisions on whether or not we are on the right shift, if we
Hmm.
are working a job, and
Hmm.
how are we going to transition our lives from working a full-time job to
Hmm.
having a business. Like we
Hmm.
really have to consider all things before we make that decision that this is really something that I'm going to put all my focus into. So then you were working at Verizon, you switched jobs, and then you started working at, was it Continental?
Uh, I went to uh, did I go? I went to Colonial Life.
Colonial Life.
Yeah,
That's what
I
it
went.
was. I
I
was
went from
trying to think about
Verizon
the
to
name.
Colonial Life. Yeah, Colonial Life, and
Okay. And
that's where
then
I'm still at Colonial Life.
and you're still at Colonial
I
Life.
am.
So
This
it
is like year 16, or I think this is year 16 for.
gotcha. Year
Yeah,
16. Congratulations on that. That's a
I
long time and
know.
definitely
Yeah,
consistency. So
yeah.
another key point for entrepreneurship is that we got to stay the course. We cannot just decide that we are always going to jump from job to job because
Mm-hmm.
we got to have stability. That's
Mm-hmm.
what having the whole idea of being a business owner really, the foundation of it is the
Mm-hmm.
stability. So if
Mm-hmm.
your work ethics on the job are not good, then the work ethics in the business will also be not good.
Not
So if
good.
you're not consistent on the job, then how can you be consistent in the business when you're not even used to that type of lifestyle? So
Right.
thank you for, working for 16 years, but when along that journey of 16 years did you decide that you wanted to go in business for yourself?
When I realized I knew what everyone else wanted and didn't know what I wanted. And so
Oh,
I would it's really weird, kind of hard to talk about, but like I was doing everything for everybody and go to the grocery store. I know what everybody wants. I know what everybody's snacks. I know everybody's favorite food. I know all of this. Everybody call me, Romy, can you do this? Romy, can you do that?
mm-hmm.
And at the end of the day, I'm like, well, what makes Romy happy? What does Romy want?
Oh,
Romy needed to find herself. The
oh,
kids are getting older. So I
right.
needed to find something that I enjoyed doing other than cheerleading and soccer and baseball and all that. And I loved all that. But those days were like dwindling down because the kids are getting older now. So I'm thinking like, okay, maybe this is my time. And so I started
Right.
praying to God and asking him to helped me to find my passion
Woo.
and what it was I wanted to do.
I
And
know that's right.
he's literally told me to set goals. So I'm a goal-oriented person now. I'll set a goal to do this, and then once it's done, I'll set a goal to do this. I'll set a goal to do this, and I'll set a goal to do this. And sometimes you set goals and you think, okay, I set that goal, but do I really want to do that? And then you can scratch that off.
Right.
You can scratch that off.
Okay.
And you have those goals that you really like to do. And so the setting the goal process has really worked for me. I ask God to surround me around positive people, a positive network of people that can teach me how to learn the business of entrepreneurship. And guess what?
Wow. And what did he do?
Michelle Green.
Oh, Lord. Look, you're going to take us to a tear-jerking moment and
I
then
am.
come back with.
I am. Because that's basically what it was. It was like I enjoyed to do certain things for the family, administer, like, I have two businesses we can talk about. And I enjoy doing them both. And I have a passion for both of them. But in the beginning, there was additional things that I had included under those businesses that over the years I found, nah, I don't want to do that. I just want to stick with this. And that way I don't, because I also ask God to help me prioritize so I do not become overwhelmed with anxiety, trying to do this, and this, doing too much because I still have a family to take care of.
Okay, so let's pause again for a moment for those that are just now tuning in. So what you're saying is that you found love, you got married, you had a baby, you switched jobs. Okay, I want y'all to really follow her journey of life because this is a real life, the life of Romy Holmes. Okay, and she switched jobs and then she began doing this job and realized along the journey, what was it, probably in your 30s or 40s, maybe,
40s,
that
40s.
you started to realize in your 40s that, hey, I'm just working for everybody else. I don't even know what it is that I even like myself. I don't even know myself of who I am or what it is that I'm here to do. All I know is my identity is locked inside of my husband and my children, and even to this day, maybe even your grandchildren, and maybe and maybe your mom and your dad. Our
Yeah.
lives, we get locked inside of what it is that we're doing for others instead of really going internally and getting to know who we actually are so that we can begin to do the things that we are supposed to do. So then we can have the things that we are supposed to have. See,
Right.
that's the order of how entrepreneurship and really our whole life is supposed to work. When we start out, even though we may find the love of our life, or we may have children and we love our kids, we might have parents that we might have to take care of. But regardless of the scenario that we are placed in with our family and friendships, and even in our workplace, we have to still know who we are. And the only way we can find that out is through the one that created us. I heard you say a key thing. And that key thing about entrepreneurship and leading you to where you are today, and we'll talk about that in just a moment. But you said a key point, and that is that you listen to the creator. You said that God told you to begin to write down the goals. I think that's so significant because I'm a believer
Mm-hmm.
of the creator, okay? And I know that in the word of God, it talks about how he says, write the vision and make it plain so
Vision.
that those who read it will be
Exactly.
able to run with that vision.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yep.
this is something that is so significant that all of us can walk away with. Are
Mm-hmm.
we writing down our goals? Do we know who we are and what it is that we want in life? Or
Mm-hmm.
are we just doing things on a roller coaster wheel like a hamster, just rolling around doing things that are not producing anything of what we want or desire?
Exactly.
This is really good, bro. I mean, this is so good. So you ended up learning in your 40s that you needed to kind of pause and just take a look around and figure out who you are and what it is that you want to do. So we kind of started back talking because over the years we were in contact, we weren't in contact. Maybe one of our kids had a birthday, and
Mm-hmm.
we have two boys that your son and my son share the same birthday. Is it
Mm-hmm.
the same birthday or the day before or something like that?
It's the same birthday, different year. One
Different
year
year.
apart. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes, yes, that's what it is. That's what it is.
Yeah.
So we would get together over the years, and sometimes we would disconnect, but we got together one time, and then I was telling you I had started this business university. So tell the audience, tell the world about what happened from that point forward.
Now, Michelle, this woman here. Okay, so first of all, if you know Michelle, you know she has multiple businesses.
True, true.
Okay, so I started off with her credit business. Okay,
Oh, that's right. I
I did
completely
credit.
forgot.
Yes, exactly. And she helped me build up my credit back to where it should be. She went through the entire process. She walked me through it, and I'm so thankful. I'm so
Oh,
thankful
you are
today.
most
So
welcome.
went through that process, and then after that is when I start after the credit classes, and I went through that, and my brother's actually in her class now. um, but
Yay.
she runs a great program. So if anybody didn't know, she runs a great program. Okay,
Oh, thank you,
and
Romy.
after that, I was said to myself, well, let me go ahead and make these businesses legit, right?
Right.
Okay, so I'm thinking, I can do this. You know, I can do this. Okay, so I go on IRS.gov first, which was wrong.
Okay. Thank you for sharing that with the world because they do need to know.
I did that first, and then I think I went to Secretary of State, went down there. Why? I thought I had to drive down to Pendleton Street.
Oh
I
my
don't know.
goodness.
I thought I knew what I was doing. You take a business class because I could have did all that online. Okay.
Right. Right.
Um, so once I realized I had a lot more questions than I thought I did, I
Mm-hmm.
joined Michelle's
Yes.
business class, KBBU University. And let me
Yes.
tell y'all, it was more than what I thought it was going to be.
Woo! Yeah. So you came in, I believe it was January of 2023.
23.
23, and you graduated in June or May or June of 2023. So that was about 6 months that you came through. We talked about business setup, we talked about business credit, money,
We had
funding.
Bible study.
Yeah, we had Bible study because we
It was
talk about the
like,
word of God.
yeah, we talked about the kingdom of God, how the kingdom is set up, is how your business is supposed to be set up. And I'm like, oh, I thought I was going to be missing Bible study, but I ain't missing Bible study.
I love it. I love it. Yes, yes, yes. So you went through, I think it was like 18 weeks, somewhere 18 to 20 weeks, because
Yeah,
I was doing a little
I
bit
did
longer
two classes,
class.
right? Yeah, two classes.
Yeah,
Yeah, I did the
yeah.
two classes and learned so much. I'm like, really, Roma, you did your stuff all
Oh.
backwards. So, so like, you know, sometimes we think we can figure it out, but it's in the business world, it's just too much. I mean, it's
It
so much
is.
stuff out there that you think you know, but you don't
Mm-hmm.
know because it's like starting up a business is everything is about money, okay?
Up, up,
Okay,
up. Tell them about something now, Roman. Tell them about
I'm
something.
gonna just tell you,
Let me just tell you,
every form that's got to be filled
that's got
out.
to be filled out.
Okay,
Okay,
every
every
department you
department you
be online or in
open in,
there's a
there's
fee.
a fee.
It was just
It
like
was just like
I I
I
see my
I
business
see my business
grants because
grants because
the money to
the
start a
money to start up
because
Exactly.
because
it's literally
literally
overwhelming.
overwhelmed
And I
and
tell you something,
it's
and
something and
it's not
it's
embarrassing
not embarrassing.
because
It's,
I, I'm the type of
I'm the
person
type of person
whatever I need
whatever I need
to do to
to
get where
do to get
I get to.
that to.
So on the
So
side,
on the side,
fashion,
fashion,
so that I
so
can
that I can
have money
have money
to pay for the
to pay
different
for the different
classes that are
classes
needed.
that are needed.
So that's just
So
how that
that's just how.
was. And I actually loved in DoorDash. It was kind of fun. I did that for a little while because you know you have your family and you have
Mm-hmm.
your you know budget for your family, so you can't keep going in that for your business. So you got to figure out, okay, if I want to do this business thing, okay, how am I come up with some extra money? That was easy for me because it was flexible. I can do it
Yes.
if I wanted to do it, and it even helped out my son James because I would let him go with me like
Oh,
once a week, door dashing, and he would do all the work. And that was showing him that hey, you got to work for your money.
I love
It's
it.
not given to you. You have to work for it. And he loved it. He loved it. He actually is ready to go back into it. But I'm like,
Okay.
oh, I'd be like, hold up, baby, let's wait for the summer.
I love it. I love it. So you had the opportunity to come through the KBBU undergraduate class, graduate, get your certificate, and I believe you got a t-shirt too.
I did.
Yes, because back then I was giving out t-shirts, and I think I'm gonna start that back up again
Mhm,
since I did take a break for a year after my mom passed. But anywho, so then you actually started thinking about, okay, let's put a business together. So the business ideas, even though you were kind of like on the beginning stages of getting your business together after you graduated, we
mhm,
had formed the actual company. I don't know if you were actually like running sales in the organization at that time,
mhm,
but you still found other ways in which you could make an income. So you went and did the DoorDash thing, and there absolutely isn't anything wrong with that. Like you said,
mhm.
that's just another way for us to
Just
make
another
money.
way. Mhm,
And I think that that is another key element for entrepreneurs to understand is that regardless of what you got to do in order for you to make your money, now I'm saying legally,
mhm.
okay?
Yeah.
Regardless of what you got to do, you need to understand that there is no shame in the game of working a job, and there's no shame in the game of you having to take on some type of extra
Mhm,
work. As
mhm,
long as you are doing what you got to do to take care of the things that you are responsible for, that you put your name to,
mhm,
and also in addition to that, you're doing enough to be able to supply the needs of your company, then
mhm,
you got yourself in the bag. You got it in the bag. Like that is what you are supposed to do if
mhm.
that's necessary.
If
Now,
it's necessary.
if you like the rare 1% of people who are born with the silver spoon in their mouth, now that's a whole different conversation we can have, okay?
Yeah.
But for the majority of us that are entrepreneurs,
Mhm,
we have to start out doing whatever is necessary for us to do. So,
Yeah.
Romy, begin to tell us a little bit about your businesses. So, you actually have two LLCs that have been birthed from you coming from undergraduate going to the VIP master's class that started was it the following year, I think, 2024?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you started in January of 2023,
Mhm.
graduated in June, then waited about 6 months and came into the VIP master's class. And how different was the master's class to the undergraduate? Can you tell us about that real quick before you tell us about your companies?
Sure. The difference I would say was in the beginning, you know how you say first day of school, right?
Yes.
Giving you the basics. This they're pretty much giving you an agenda.
Okay.
This is what we're going to do. We're going to start here. We're going to go here. Take your notes. We have homework. Okay. You have homework at KBBU. Okay. Okay.
Yes, you do.
So,
It's a school, it's a university.
yes. So you basically gave a rundown. This every student in the class was like just everybody was just so nice. Everybody was
Oh,
nice and everyone was just taking in all the knowledge that she has, and then her coaches, she had some great coaches to come in. So we
yes.
all just took it all in. So I say that's how the first part of the class went. So we learned the basics of, you know, my door, and IRS.gov, learning all the different websites that you have to keep up with, like the state does. You got to go in and make sure you update your stuff every 3 months if you have employees or if you don't have employees. So we learned all that basic stuff. So in the second part of the class, it was some of the same familiar faces, and some of the businesses had advanced, and we got more into how to build credit, or another thing. It was so much. It's like so much information. How to build credit, or the NI. What was that number? The NICS. Because I know.
Oh, we ain't get ready to give out all of our
Okay.
goodness now. We ain't gonna give out all the goods.
I'll just say.
Robin just excited, boy. I'm telling y'all see this. This
I
is
was
the kind of relationships we have over the years. I'm telling you. So you were saying that you learned a whole lot in the undergraduate class, and then when it came to you going to the VIP master's class, what
It
was
was
that
more
like?
advanced.
It was more advanced.
Yeah.
Okay. In what way do you mean? Like, did you learn differently, or what was your experience?
Um, I took in more, but then some of the stuff that you had forgotten,
Yeah.
or you didn't do that homework from the first class, you were able to go back and ask the question. And there were speakers that came in, the speakers, they
Yes.
give you so much motivation. I remember one guy came in, I still can't remember his name. He was so motivational. So when you hear these motivational speakers talking about how they became the entrepreneur that they are, and they will tell you it is not easy.
No.
Nothing easy about becoming your own business owner. It's nothing easy. Like I literally pray every morning, and I would say to myself, I don't know how I'm able to do all that I do when I have an employer, I have children, I have a house and my husband, and I still have my two businesses. So the
Ooh,
only person that strength comes from is my God.
that's
He gives
right.
me the strength because he knows my heart and he knows my passion. And so until I am able to become that full-time employee, that full-time entrepreneur,
Mm-hmm.
it's going to give me the strength that I need. I already know that. That's a given.
Yes, 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 yes. So the
Yeah.
classes were very different in that they were more advanced. You could ask more questions, and you got motivation from speakers. We gave some grant giveaways. We
Yeah.
gave some money away.
Mm-hmm.
I remember there were a lot of people who were able to get funded in different ways. Some of them got some loans that they never thought were possible. Some got grants. And overall, it's just a big difference because it is the VIP, the difference between the VIP masters and the undergraduate. That was a very good analogy you gave of just starting school for the first time versus you getting ready to go to college now. Okay. I like
Totally.
that. That's a
Familiar.
really good. That's
Mm-hmm.
a really good analogy of starting school for that first day as a
Mm-hmm.
kindergartner or first grader,
Mm-hmm.
and then you used to school, but then at the same time you don't know nothing about that next level till you get there. Okay, so more of the executions level of making
Mm-hmm.
sure you're interacting in the actual company after you go to the VIP. But
Right.
thank you for sharing your experience with that. Now, can you tell us a little bit about your two businesses that you just mentioned earlier, that you
Sure.
have two companies, not one? So tell us about the first company that you have established, Romy.
Sure. So the first company that I have is called Array Management Services LLC.
All
Now,
right.
hello. So Management Services LLC. Under that, I basically do tax preparations. I do amendments. I do different administrative work for a lot of people. They have to get these forms and they're not used to filling them out, and they
Mhm.
call on me. It can be forms from anywhere from 401k to Medicare to anything. I'm just kind of
Mhm.
really, that's my thing. Filling out forms for them but all know we like tax season just ended yesterday, May 1st, right? 'Cause we got a deadline in South Carolina.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, I was so glad because I promise you from January to May 1st, it's been on and popping because like I said, I have been always doing my aunties and my cousins and they still come to me,
Right.
and even like I'm gonna have some business even after May 1st because sometimes you have late bloomers, so it's
Right.
cool, it's
Right.
my business, so that's what I do. um,
Okay.
but I enjoy it when the customer has all the paperwork and
Exactly.
for me on time so I don't have to rush. But I enjoy that kind of stuff. Once I get off from, say, Colonial, then I log on to my Array Management Services and I do whatever I need to do under that. Under there, I was also doing rental property, but I'm not doing that anymore. Um,
Okay.
yeah, I'm
So
down.
basically, I'm sorry to cut you off, but I just want to make sure that everybody understands. So, Array Management Services LLC is a business where you prepare people's taxes. And taxes, is it personal taxes or business taxes or both?
Both.
It's both. Okay. So entrepreneurs, y'all hear the words that are coming out of her mouth. Okay. If you
Yes.
need to go and get your taxes done, then this is the lady for you. You
Yes.
see the information that is on the screen.
Mhm.
That's Array Management Services LLC. She's located in Columbia, South Carolina, 2000 Park Street, Suite 101, downtown, right downtown,
Right
off
down
of that's right, off of Park Street.
there.
And then you got her number. That's 85550. Array is what that number spells out. So if you want to type it in by the letters or you want to type it in by the numbers, either way, you'll be able to reach out to her. She's going to be at extension number 1. And her business email is info@araymgtsrvs.com. So if you need your taxes done, entrepreneurs, go ahead and give her a call because it's not limited to where you're located. Because I know I've sent you some clients, Romy,
Yeah.
from the KBBU,
Right.
KBBU, and so they've been in Texas and California
North
and
Carolina.
all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
North Carolina
it's
comes
not
whenever he needs something or needs some paperwork done or needs to bring me some updated information. I'll bring it to you.
I
Okay.
love it. I love it. So that's right. We
Yeah.
network within KBBU like no other.
Mm,
Our whole idea is to bring in all the entrepreneurs and whatever your expertise is to be able to share that wealth by collaborating with our clients and your clients and vice versa. And if I need my taxes done, I can go to Romy and vice versa. Whatever we can help each other in. That's really true entrepreneurship at its
yeah.
highest tier, is learning how to become an investor. An
Mm,
investor of what? An investor of other entrepreneurs
mm.
in other businesses. You
Other-
can't get any better than that. The
Yeah.
people who are the wealthiest in the world are the ones who invest in other businesses if they
Exactly.
themselves are
Mm,
in business.
mm.
So that is the biggest nugget you can take away from this whole session right here. All right. So you've told us about Array Management Services LLC as a tax preparer. Now tell us a little something about the other business that you established after coming through the VIP Masters class.
Well, certainly. So my other business is Array CMOS LLC, also located
Awesome.
right here in Columbia, South Carolina. And pretty much my CMOS is, I love it. Like I absolutely love my CMOS business. Um, what I normally do, I have a website, so I take orders. On my website is arraycmos.com.
Awesome.
Array, ARRAY, CMOS.com. On my website, and let me just say, I'm going to give a shout out to Aubrey, who's also, I think he's VIP or coach now.
He's a VIP. Yes, he is a VIP. And he actually has done the Where Are They Now? I believe he was our second student that did the Where Are They Now? So y'all can go back in my timeline and y'all can watch the video of Aubrey Wise, who has also two businesses and came from two prior businesses before coming to KBBU, but he also does websites. So he
Yes,
did your website, right?
my website, and he does an awesome job. And whenever I need anything updated, like the quickest little thing, he goes in and it's no issue. So shout out to Aubrey. Thank you so much. I love my website. On
Yes.
the website, certainly I ship and I deliver. So if you're in Columbia, I deliver at no charge. Or
Awesome.
if you not in Columbia, I ship. And there's a charge for that. But
Yes.
right now, I currently ship to 4 different states, and right now, I
Nice.
ship to Texas, Virginia, North Carolina, Georgia.
Nice.
So I'm hoping to build that range out more, of course, over the next couple of years. Locally, I do a lot of uh, vendor events. I did the Women's Empowerment in January, which was
Oh,
the big
wow.
one for 2024 of
Okay.
last year. It was absolutely awesome. So,
Wow.
and I'm also going to be doing the Women's Empowerment for this year, which will be August 16th. So make sure you get your tickets. They're now $20. And they go up as they announce who all is going to be there. They start to
Yes.
go up in price. So just keep that in mind. It really is a great event. I did about 3 events at Brooklyn Baptist Church. But
Mm-hmm.
you can find me at Doco Park in Blythewood, South Carolina, every Wednesday from 4 to 7. I have
Nice. Nice.
and they have a farmers market. It's really nice. It's a very nice atmosphere. Um,
Okay.
but yeah, you can find me at Doco Park every Wednesday from 4 to 7. But certainly, website is super easy. If you have any questions, you can always reach out. Once you get on the website, if you have any questions, you can always click on contact me and it'll send me an email and I can reach back out to you.
Okay. All right. So, Romy, I got a question. So, if someone doesn't really know a whole lot about sea moss, and
Mm-hmm.
its purposes. Can you just share briefly, a little something that they could take away from the idea of even trying your sea moss, and if you have different brands of sea moss or different flavors, you
Uh-huh.
know, let us know a little something about the purposes of why we would even like how would we even consume sea moss?
Got it. So sea moss, I call it a superfood. It comes from the ocean. It's natural. It's a natural
Okay.
food. Um, it basically comes in the form of like stringy, and it's of course it comes from the sea, so it's salty and it's sandy. So I have to process it. Okay, so I
Okay.
process it for so many days, and then I make my flavors. Now I currently have 8 flavors.
All right.
Okay, so I have strawberry, mango, peach, and what is the other one? I wrote them down.
Strawberry, mango, peach.
Okay, so I have mango, strawberry, pineapple, and peach. Those were my first 4. And then with me and my daughter, she helps me out a lot. She's my like worker when I'm out at the event. She's always with me. And now my son comes a lot as well. I also have pineapple mango. I have pineapple strawberry, and I have strawberry mango. I also have plain.
Ooh.
Now,
Okay. So
so
you mix the ingredients of the 4 ingredients with each other,
yeah,
and you can
and those
also buy
are
them
yours. They are,
separately.
yeah, they're like number one sellers. They love them.
Oh my God. Yes, and I tried the pineapple one, so it was delicious. I love pineapple, but hey, to each his own, whatever your choice is, hey, they're all good, I'm
They're all
sure. I'm
good.
sure of it.
But basically, I can just testify to some of the benefits of
Okay.
CMOS. It helps you with your immune system, your digestive system, thyroid. It helps you with your moods and your mental health, allergies.
Wow.
It helps hair, skin, nails, teeth. It
Ooh.
also helps with halitosis. We all know what halitosis is. So, and as far as skin, like if you have the plain sea moss, my mom uses the plain sea moss. She loves the plain.
Okay.
She says
Okay.
she wants all her nutrients. Okay. And speaking of nutrients, okay, our bodies need 102 nutrients per day.
Ooh, that's a lot of nutrients.
Lot. Sea moss alone gives our body 92 of those needed nutrients.
92?
92. Okay.
Whoa, that is amazing. So it sounds like that we out there need to get us some sea moss
Right.
from
It's the
Array
sea
Sea
moss.
Moss
Yeah.
LLC.
Yeah. It helps, it gives you energy, it aids in women and men's health, it helps you sleep, purifies your blood. I mean, the benefits are out of this world. And just to tell
Wow.
you a quick synopsis of one of my presentations, right? I was trying to put my presentation on to this pharmaceutical tech. And I went to start my spill, right? And I said, you ever heard of sea moss? And then he says, Romy, because I already knew him, right? He's like, Romy.
Right.
He said, don't worry, you don't have to do that. I already know. It already has over 100 benefits. I know this. So he immediately bought like 2 jars, and he's still
That's
coming.
awesome.
A lot of
Congratulations.
people are aware of it, and some people are not. But I do notice just by getting out at events, and I loved going to the events because y'all can tell I like to talk. But going out to the events and educating people on it, especially some that have no clue what it is, they're so receptive of
That's
the information.
good. That's
Yeah,
so good.
they're
Yes.
receptive of the information, and that makes me feel okay. Whether they buy or not, I've done my job by giving
Good.
information, especially when I'm automatically at Doco Park every week. Maybe one week they'll stop and be like, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and try.
That's right. That's it right there. That's what entrepreneurship is all
Yeah,
about. That's
exactly.
exactly it. So I love that y'all see her information on the screen. also in Columbia, South Carolina, in the same vicinity of the other business with a extension number 2 and the phone number that instead of 1, if you're looking for CMOS, it's number 2 extension. If you're looking for taxes, it's number 1. So you can see her email. Y'all can email her, or you can go to the website to order her CMOS, and she does ship nationwide. So listen, go ahead and get it in. And her sea moss is clean. I don't know where you get that sea moss from, but honey, that thing is like pristine. Okay. So
Nothing.
it's the good stuff. It's definitely the good stuff. All right. I'm trying to tell you today, no issues whatsoever with the cleanliness. And I know Romy, and she's a very clean person because I done ate from her and her family, and they can throw down. Hello, let's go. But anywho, thank you so much, Romy, for coming on today. We really appreciate you sharing with us where you have been versus where you came from recently and then where you are now. Is there anything that you would like to give advice to the people who are watching, if they're thinking about being an entrepreneur, if they already are, or anything that you went through in your own personal journey that you just want to leave with the world?
Don't give up. Don't
Oh,
give up. If it's something that you really desire, and don't let anyone push you away from it, because sometimes you may want family members to support you.
oh, come on.
And that may not happen. But I learned in KBBU, uh, it's it's my vision. It's not my
Yes,
family's vision.
that's right.
So if it's something that you know in deep down in your heart that this is what I want to do, that eventually I want to let this right here go, and this is what I want to do, don't give up.
That's right.
Don't give up and don't be discouraged. And I know it gets hard because it was hard for me. I know it. But you want the support, and sometimes it's just not there. But go to the Lord and pray about it, and He'll make it easier for you to get through. So just don't give up on your dream, because it's your dream and your vision, not anyone else's.
I love it. I love it. Well, there's nothing else for me to say. I thank you, Romy, for coming on today. Boy, I tell you, you got some tear jerking emotions going on up in here, honey. But thank you so much for sharing that, because I think that we all need to be reminded these are our dreams, y'all. These are the things that God has given us. He's put this in our hearts. So we cannot just decide that we are going to be angry or get upset and stop doing what it is that God has called us to, just because someone else doesn't believe in our dream, just because someone else doesn't support our dream. It's not for them to support our dreams, it's there for them to support their own. So,
Mhm.
to each its own, we all have something that we are called to do. So, let's get to work. Let's go do it. And let's give Romy a round of applause for an amazing Where Are They Now? Thank you so much for coming on today, Romy. We really appreciate you. All right, that's all for today of what we have. You've heard from another amazing entrepreneur that have come through the KBBU process. And even before the KBBU process, what we're learning from these episodes is that people come from all different walks of life, and you never know the journey that God is taking you through will be the journey that when you get to the end of the road, when it's time for you to take your last breath, you can look back and say, well, wow. Wow, all of those things that I went through were to build me up to be at the point where I am today and where I'll end up when I take my last breath. So there you have it. I hope that you enjoyed. I hope that you saw the different things that would allow you to relate to where you might be in life right now today. So please make sure that you share this video with an entrepreneur. First, make sure that you are subscribed and set your notifications so you never miss an episode when we go live at KBBU's Where Are They Now? Thank you again for watching, and I will see you next Tuesday again here at the KB. Michelle Green YouTube channel powered by CTR Media at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right, y'all take care. See you next